that actually gets us to your recent um, piece in the New York Post, where you talk a little bit about this, and the idea of lowering standards in order to meet kind of superficial quotas,
Mm,
or to help a certain group of kids along because they're struggling for whatever reason, and because it's seen through the lens of race, the prescriptions are often incredibly harmful and very superficial, right? So I'm
yeah.
reminded of this cartoon. um it's a line of animals. One of them is a monkey, then there's an elephant, there's a fish in a bowl, there's a bird, and then there's a person sitting in front of them, and he says, all right, in order to ensure fairness, you're going to take the same test. Climb this tree, right? And the idea is, this is why standardized testing is wrong,
Hmm.
right? This is the way it was presented when I saw the cartoon. It's like, this is the problem with racism and standardized testing, right? And really, really, what's going on there is essentialism, right? There's like, oh, there's
Yeah.
only one type of animal that climbs trees, and all the other animals do different things. They don't do the climbing trees thing. It just turns out that climbing trees is taking standardized tests, right? There's a lot
Right.
of assumptions in there that are
Yep.
that are
Yep.
really pernicious. I'm
Yep.
curious, tell us a little bit about the piece you wrote and how you feel about the lowering of standards, and why it's the wrong approach.
Yeah. Well, in this piece I wrote for the Post, it's really diving into this topic of equity, and in particularly racial equity, where there just seems to be an obsession that, if there's a difference in outcomes, again, let's take reading. If there's a difference in outcomes between races, if 45% of white kids are reading at grade level, but 23% of black kids are reading at grade level, then that's must be due to racism. Like Abraham Kendi says, if I see a racial gap, I see racial discrimination. And the end of story, no other explanation. And so
Mhm.
then the solution means we need equity, we need equal outcomes. And the thing is, that's just not how the world works. We are all ultimately individuals. What we have to be able to do is create a world of equal access, equal opportunity. So, in that world, if I'm a teacher in a classroom with 25 kids, that means I've got 25 human beings with 25 learning styles, 25 different family situations, 25 different everythings, right? Maybe some things in common, but the point is, you just can't make assumptions. And so the term we use in education is differentiated supports, meaning that I may be a family, that I may be a English language learner. We recent immigrants and we're learning a language, or I might be someone really good in math. And so the idea is that you cater the kinds of supports for each student to bring you all to a level playing field, right? You can't guarantee that every kid is going to score XYZ on a particular exam or have a certain outcome. But what you can do is ensure that every kid has an equal shot. That's what I was writing about, because there is a push right now for equity, which, or certain anti racist doctrine, which ironically oftentimes turns out to be racist unto itself. I mean, in Evanston, Illinois, there was a superintendent during the height of COVID who said, for equity, I'm going to reopen schools, because, we needed kids to be back in school. But he said,
Right.
I'm only going to do it for the kids of color, but all the white kids stay home. Like, wait, what? Right? I mean, just like, or in Oregon, the
Mm.
governor passed a law that, because they were trying to, how do we help our black kids? How do we help our, how do we help our quote unquote Latinx kids? So they said, let's remove the requirement to demonstrate proficiency in
Yeah.
reading and math to graduate from high school, with the rationale being this is how we help our kids of color. Just think about that for a second. Once you start, whether it's well intentioned or not, it's just wrong. When you start removing or lowering standards as the mechanism by which now this is how our disadvantaged kids are going to compete, what you're actually doing is that you're robbing young people of the dignity to achieve excellence.